Hey YouTubers, well I got another video review for you. So a couple years ago you seen me do the review here on this Heat Hog 9000, and today I'm going to be doing the review on the Heat Hog 18,000 BTU portable propane heater. And so I just wanted to say the first thing that I noticed, as with the 9000, when I pulled it the 18,000 out of the box, and that this thing has got a beefy handle on it. You can see it's nice and thick, doesn't feel rickety or flimsy, and it does fold down. I noticed that it still has this grill here on the front of it, just like the 9000. I mean, this thing is a lot thicker than probably what it needs to be. Yeah, it's built really well, and it works good. As far as both of them, they both work good. I've used this one many times. A few years ago, I had some busted water pipes there in the bathroom, had water flowing down the walls, down the ceiling, coming through the vents, and it was a mess. And, you know, I was like, never again. So I ended up getting the Heat Hog. And so whenever it starts to get, you know, below 20 degrees here in Tennessee, I just throw the Heat Hog in the bathroom and don't have to really worry about it. Anyways, this one's got some nice features that this one doesn't have. And, you know, this one here has the electronic ignition. So when you mash the button, it clicks, and it takes a AAA battery. This one's a little bit louder. It works every time, don't have to worry about a battery. But with this one here, you know, let's say you've got this heater in like a deer blind or something, and you want to be quiet, then the battery electronic ignition is going to be a lot quieter. I'll do it again. So that's a lot quieter than. So that is one advantage. And if you're one of the guys up north that does the ice fishing, one of the features that this has I've never seen on any other heater, and that's this thing is able to tilt back 30 degrees. So you can tilt the whole heater back. And the reason you would want that is so you don't melt the ice right in front of the heater. You know, some of your buddy heaters just shoot out the heat straight out in front of you, so you'll have a puddle of water and on the ice, and so you step in that, you're gonna go for a flip, I'm sure. Anyways, that is a good feature to be able to tilt that back, you know, provide a little more angled heat coming out this direction than just straight out. So that is a benefit. And the 9000 tilts back as well, so they both share that same feature. The Heat Hog heaters, they have the heating elements here in the middle. They're the white plaques there. They have like a curved design, so they have like 33% more heating surface. You got more of a wall of heat that's radiating out, and so you know you're able to get more of a wider coverage. So if there's multiple people that you're trying to heat, you know, it's got more of an angled area where it's shooting out rather than just straight out in front of you. You know, these do put out quite a bit of heat, but then one of the main features is right here behind this guard. You just pull that little panel off, and it's got a little tether on it. You'll notice you got a lot more room in here, and with more room, it gives you more room to get in here to work on something. If you have to replace, you know, over time, you know, you might have to replace the tip over switch, and you can see it's right there. I just had to replace one on a heater buddy, you know, a few months back. And so, you know, it's nice to be able to get in there and not have to feel so cramped. You can just reach in there and replace that really easy. Well, that's the same thing with the igniter. So let's say you got to replace the igniter. It's really easy to work on. So that's one thing that I like. You know, you got a lot of room in here. The second thing is I like using these refillable tanks. I've been using these things for years. I've got a video on how to refill these. If you don't refill these and you're still buying these at $5 a piece, you know, it's kind of crazy, because these are $5, $6, $7 a piece, and I can refill these around $1, you know. So it's really cheap to refill them, and it only takes less than 2 minutes to refill one of these. So anyways, another feature that I wanted to show you is right here. When you go to screw in your tank, and the swivel regulator thing, you screw it in, it pivots back and forth. I don't know how well you guys can see that pivoting back and forth, but that just makes it even easier when you go to put your bottle on there. You go ahead and get it lined up, and then go ahead and start twisting it in place. You know, you can pull it out here or you can pull it there, but you can see it just makes it a lot easier to get it on and off. And I know some of the other heaters have this feature as well, but they don't have this feature. Let's say you've got your heater running and you've got another full bottle over here, but it's cold. Well, in order to get all the propane out of these bottles, they need to be warm, you know, because if they're cold, you're not going to get all the propane out of these, and they're not going to run for very long. And so you're just wasting your money if these are freezing cold. Like I said, you're not going to be able to get all the propane out. So what Heat Hog has developed is this little heating area. Basically, you just take your bottle, slide it on there, and you just let it rest right there while you know, it's pulling the propane out of here to produce the heat. This one here is just basically resting here in the back and staying warm. So when you do switch the bottles out, this one's nice and toasty, and you know, you're going to get every drop of that liquid propane out of that bottle, and it's going to just last you longer. Now, I know you're probably sitting there thinking, well, what if you want to run it on a 20-pound propane cylinder? You can do that. The way that you do that is right here. They have a quick disconnect, and so you take this quick disconnect fitting here and you plug it right in to their little fitting there, and hook the other end into a propane tank. Now you've got a 20-pound cylinder that's going to last a long time, give you plenty of heat. You know, you don't have to sit here and fumble with screwing anything on. Like I said, it's just a quick disconnect. So let's say if you work in a shop or something, you've got your air tools and they connect like that. It's the same principle. It's pretty much just like an air fitting. It's made just for gas. And so, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Now, one thing that I've seen that I wish they'd have fixed it, but it is what it is. You can see that these dark green, non-refillable bottles, they'll fit right here in that little groove. And then, you know, right here on the bottom is a little magnet to keep them from clunking around. So I thought that was really neat. You can see they don't move around on you and clunk around and all that. But if you're like me and you use these refillable bottles, the neck is a little too wide up here at the top, and so the refillable bottles won't slide up there, or at least the Flame King brand ones won't fit up there. So, you know, it is what it is. You can always put them, I guess, back here behind it, and maybe to get a little bit of heat. But as far as being able to just set them up there, you're not going to be able to. You could probably even take and set them down in there like that. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys how to, you know, light the heater. I went ahead and cut the lights so you could see me light it here in just a minute, but I just wanted to read through the lighting instructions real quick. It says to turn the control knob counterclockwise to the pilot position and depress the knob and hold down. And I'll show you how to do it here in just a second. Then it says press the igniter button from behind the heater while still holding the control knob down until the pilot lights. If pilot does not light, repeat steps. After pilot lights, hold control knob down for 30 to 60 seconds until thermocouple is hot. Release knob. Knob should return to fully extended position. To operate heater, slightly depress the knob and gently turn to the desired setting. Now, it's one thing to be able to read it, and then it's another thing for me to show you. I'm more of a visual learner, and so we're going to bring the camera a little closer and get a better view for you guys at home. All right, guys, so I'm going to show you your components. This here is your electronic igniter, and this one here is your control knob. And then right here, you can see the control knob has the little arrow, and it's pointing in the off direction. Now you can see right here, it's got a little symbol for like a spark or a star almost. It's really tiny, but you can see that's for the pilot. And then you move it over, and that's heat setting 1, heat setting 2, and heat setting 3. And then as far as your igniter, whenever you depress the button up top, you can see the igniter down here. It'll start ticking and shooting that little arc across through there. You can light the heater off and it'll stay lit. Anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to do just like the direction says. We're going to depress on that knob. You can see I'm depressing it down. You just have to lightly depress down, move it to the ignite position, and then you mash this. And you can see down there that the igniter lit just that fast. I mean, literally, as soon as I hit the button, it was lit. And I'm sitting here depressing it still. And then after it gets warm, you know, then to turn it to the first setting and watch it light up that heating element. I don't know if you guys seen that. It's only going to light up this first heating element right here. And then you can move it to like a number 2 setting and a number 3 setting. And then I know the number 3 setting lights up both sides, not just the one side. But give it a few seconds to warm up, and then I would move it over to the desired temperature. You can move it over now if you want. I'm gonna go ahead and move it over to number 2, and that just kicks the heat up even more, and it still is on that first heating element. And then when I move it to 3, you're gonna watch, it's gonna jump over to the other side, and it's really gonna be putting out the 18,000 BTUs and putting out a lot of heat. So Yes, like I said, it stays on that first heating element for the first 2 settings, and then for that 3rd heat setting, it jumps over and lights that other side. And then, you know, guys, you can start seeing the thing starting to glow reddish orange. I can feel it already. Let's say I just wanted to turn the unit off right now. I just depress it, turn it all the way to the right. I'm going to show you one more time, just so there's no confusion. When you want to light it, you depress this, set it to pilot, and then you hold it down, and then you hit this, and you can see that it lit down there. Very easy. Then you take and you let it go for just a second, and then you kind of depress it down just a little bit, and then put it on heat setting 1. And you can see right there, it pops a little bit, but after just a few seconds, it'll smooth out and it'll go away, and it won't do any popping or fluttering. And then you're good to go. You can, like I said, you can move it all the way over to the heat setting number 2, and you can see it's getting really hot, and I can feel the heat coming out through those vents right there on the top. And then there's heat setting number 3. Very, very simple, guys. Don't let these things intimidate you. They're nothing really to, you know, to get nervous about. I mean, you see I'm right here at it. You know, I'm trying to stay behind it, but I want to give a good video for you guys, so you guys, you know, don't get nervous about lighting this stuff. You know, you can see this side over here gets really red. This one over here will eventually, you know, once the longer it's run. And you can see right there it's starting to turn orange. You can tell when this thing is on that number 3 heat setting, it's putting out some heat. Like, really putting out some major heat. I can only keep my hand there for just a second because it's that hot. And now you can see they're both really glowing. And if you notice something, it's really quiet. It's really quiet. There's no electricity needed for this. All you need is a AAA battery for the igniter right there. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off. There you go. That's just to show you. The only thing that you need to light it, like I said, is just a AAA battery. Very, very easy, guys. I'll go ahead and take it out right quick and show you. And, you know, it does matter which way is pointing up. So here on your battery, you want the positive side with the nipple sticking up. You just drop it down in there, just like that. And then here on the bottom, you've got a spring. You just push it around the battery like that, and then make sure, because this little piece here is plastic, you want to make sure that you screw it on there and not cross thread it, because you don't want to crack that little plastic housing. And then screw it all the way down to the bottom. Now, one thing I will tell you is if you go to mash this electronic ignition and it goes tick, 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 and it's real slow, switch out your battery. You know, you want it to click really fast like this. You hear how it's tick, 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 really fast? That's what you want. If your battery is low, it'll just do it really slowly. And like I said, it might light it, it might not. I've not had it to where it won't light it just yet because I replaced and put a good battery in this thing. But the batteries last a long time. It's not like you're constantly changing these, you know, out. Like I said, I've not had any problems with it. It's been a very good heater. I've had it for a week, so I've not put it through long-term abuse, but I have put the 9000 model through a lot of use. Not had any problems with any of them. They make some good heaters. I'm very impressed with them. There's one thing that I wanted to touch base on, and that is runtime. I was sitting here going through the manual, trying to figure out how long that it will run for on like a 1 pound propane cylinder. And it'll run on low setting for 4.7 hours on a 1 pound propane cylinder. Then on medium, it'll run for 2.3 hours. And then on high, it'll run for 1.1 hours. Now, if you're wondering how long will it run on a 20 pound propane tank, now this is going to vary some depending on where you get your propane tank from. And you know, if you guys have been watching my videos, I shoot you straight. There ain't no BS on here. I don't fluff, you know, the video, make it sound better than it is. It just, the truth is the truth. You know, on some gas stations and stuff, when you go to switch your tank out, they don't fill them up all the way. I mean, it's just a fact. I mean, you can take one that you've had filled up you know, from like a feed and seed store, you know, where they actually fill them up right in front of you, and they actually fill them up, and compare that to one that you exchanged at a gas station for say like 18 or 20 bucks. Now I've been seeing them for like 22. I think I've seen them for $24. It's getting more and more expensive, but you know, like down the road here from my house, there's like a little feed and seed store that I go to, and they fill them right in front of you, and I can pick that one up and compare it to one I've traded in, and I'm telling you, if you go, it's a lot different. If you go somewhere where they fill them in front of you, make sure that they're filling them up, and you'll get a lot more run time out of them. But let's just say on average that you got 20 pounds in the tank, and you're going to times your run times by times 20. So let's say on low you would get roughly around 94 hours, medium 46 hours, and on high for 22 hours. So that's going to vary, like I said, depending on where you go to get those propane tanks filled. So like I said, for me, I can usually go down here to the feed store, and I think I pay about $16-17 or less than that for propane. I just had them done a few weeks ago. I can't remember exactly, but it was no more than, you know, 16-17 bucks. So, oh, and by the way, if you would please like and subscribe to the channel right now, I'd surely appreciate that. It does help me get my video out to more people. And you know, if you're interested in those Flame King refillable tanks like I use, I'll link that video to this one, and it'll play after this one. Then also down in the description, I'll have a link to those tanks as well if you want to buy them. They're pretty inexpensive, and you can refill them as many times as you want, and I think they're good for like, I don't know, 7, 8, 10 years, somewhere in there. But anyways, they do last a long time, and I've refilled mine bukus of times, and they seem to work great. So it saves you some money in the long run rather than having to buy those $5 or $7 propane, the single-use propane tanks. I mean, that gets expensive. So alright guys, as promised, I told you that I would show you how to hook this 10-foot propane hose assembly with regulator up to the Heat Hog and to the propane tank. Well, here we are. So this is a model number HH-20QC-12, and again, this is the quick connect one. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out of the box. Keep in mind this thing is 10 foot long, so it does give you plenty of reach. And what you want to do is just you know, put your little cap on there when you're not using it. That's just to keep dirt and trash out of it. And then you take your little side panel off. You got your little tether there. Just move it over to the side, and then you can clearly see in here. Right there is your quick connect. And what you want to do is go ahead and pull the little ties off here. You can tell I've not ran it with the propane hose on here yet, so this will be the first time. And what you want to do first is go ahead and unwind that hose, get all your kinks and stuff out of there, and then take and go ahead and connect it to your tank first. So what you want to do is connect it, and you're gonna, when you connect it, you're gonna go righty-tighty, and you only do it hand tight. You don't put any tools on this, or you'll crack that plastic, you know, unless just for some reason you cannot absolutely get that off. Don't put any tools on there, you know, unless you just cannot get it off for some reason. All right guys, so you see me connect it to the propane tank. I did not open the valve. And then next, what we're gonna do is go ahead and pull this cap off, the quick connect there. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull this little locking collar back. Very, very easy. You just pull it back, hold it back, and then you slide it up there. There we go. It just took a little bit of doing. This thing's light, and so when you try to push on it, the heater wants to move a little bit. So it does help if you hold down with this hand and push up on this hand. But once you heard it lock in place, then it's locked on there. Let me pull it off just to show you. And you can see right there, it's unlocked now, but when you push it further up on there, that it locks in place. And then you can go ahead and put the cover here on the back. And then now it's time to light it. So you can see right here, I've got the knob positioned to the off position there. And then next, what I'm gonna do is go ahead and open the valve on the propane tank. And it's counterclockwise. You open it all the way. And then this is where you would check for leaks. If you got, you know, 50% water, 50% soap, then you spray your fittings and stuff. I don't have any leaks. I don't smell anything. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to light it. So what you want to do is take it off of the off position, and you're going to move it over to pilot. And then once I move it over to pilot and depress down, then that's going to turn the gas on, and then I'm going to hit that igniter, and then it's going to light up. You might have to do it several times in order for the, you know, the gas to get down the hose and reach the heater, but it should be normal operating procedure, just like I showed you how to light it with the little bottles. But yeah, let me try it, see how long it takes for the gas to get from the hose to the heater. All right, here we go. I'm gonna set it on pilot, depress it down. All right, there it lit, guys. You can see, well, you might not be able to see, the pilot light's lit. The sun's shining on it, so I don't know how well you guys can see that. But I'm gonna let the pilot light heat that thermocouple up for just a few seconds. Switch it over to the #1 heat setting. Oh yeah, it's lit, and I didn't even see it. It's so bright outside today, you can't even tell that it's lit. You can hear it a little bit better now. It's a fluttering a little bit because the wind's blowing, and you can hear it fluttering that pilot light down there. But it is lit, and like I said, it's on heat level 1. Now I'm gonna move it over to 2. There is a color difference, whether you guys can see that or not. This side over here is definitely on, and it's a lot darker than this side over here. This is real bright white, and this is a little bit darker, but it's definitely putting out the heat. And then now I'm going to go ahead and switch it to level 3, where both of the heating elements will come on. And yep, it's already lit. You can't see it very good out in the daytime, but trust me, it's on, and you can see the heat from cooking off the heater there. So I'm gonna wrap this video up. If this video was informative to you, please like and hit that subscribe button. It really does help my channel out, get this video out to more people, and it just helps my channel grow. And so anyways, if you're interested in the heater, check out these Heat Hogs. They're really good heaters. I'm not just saying that. I do use them, and I definitely plan on putting this 18,000 BTU unit to work pretty soon, because it's supposed to turn off cold here this week again. So anyways, thanks for watching. Until next time, see you guys.